Hey guys, just turned my headphone audio on. How does that sound? Does it sound good? Does my voice sound smooth? And the music is scratchy. Like this song is literally scratchy, Brian. That's why it sounds scratchy. But it should. I can't hear any like clicks or anything. So smooth as butter. All right, I'll be on in just a few minutes. I'm choosing the yarn that I'm gonna crochet with, and I'll be back in just a sec. Okie dokie, artichoke. Hello everybody. So today we are doing our first ever crocheting 101 live. So basically in this live stream, hold on, I want to turn down my headphones just a little bit. This is kind of loud. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. Anyhow, in this live stream, we're going to be crocheting a beanie, which is the final project from Crocheting 101. And during this live stream, I'd like for you guys to ask me any crocheting questions you may have. I don't know if we have any beginners in the audience, but if there's any beginners in the audience, let me know. I also have my phone right next to me, so if you have any if you want to show me one of your crochet stuff, you can post it on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Just make sure you tag me at louies.loops in it. You can also send me a personal message on Instagram to at louies.loops, and just let me know that you did that in the chat, and I can check out your image and give you any advice, or you can give me advice if you have nitpicks about how I'm crocheting. Hopefully you don't have any nitpicks though. Just crochet pics. Yeah, I guess that's that. And so today I'm using, I don't know if you can see, it's a little blurry, but I'm using a size I9 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and the yarn I'm using is Vanna's Choice Lion brand yarn, and I'm using color Honey, because I thought it would be a good color that you'd be able to see during the video. So I'll be, yes, already with the dad jokes. I'll also be explaining the beanie pattern as I go. So if you want to crochet along either literally with me during this live stream or later, if you're rewatching this live stream, the pattern will be explained throughout the video, and I should have a link in the description. I don't have it right now, but if you go to crocheting, if you go to the Club Crochet site, you can find the pattern for the beanie. But I should have it in the description by the time I put this video live. And this might take me maybe a few hours to make. So we should have a lot of time. So I'm gonna start, I was starting with a slip knot, but I'm actually gonna start with a magic loop. Get my crochet hook in there. There we go. And I'm gonna start by just single crocheting 6 into the second chain from the hook for round 1. And the first part of this beanie, I'm gonna be really explaining a lot of what I'm doing. But once we get to a certain part, it's just very repetitive, so I don't need to talk too much. Do we have any beginners out there that's from that haven't crocheted or are trying to crochet along? Okay, so I just finished round 1. For the end of, when you're at the end of round 1, there should be 6 single crochets in a circle. You can tell where the stitches are because they make little V's on the top. So let me grab my needle real quick and show that off. And work with this so I can fix the lighting, or not the lighting, the focus. So if you look, you focus better. There we go. So if you look at the top of your stitches, you'll see these little V's. Each one of those V's is a stitch. So you should have 6 of these V's by the end of round 1. You can see there's 1, 2, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here's the 6th one. And this, I think, is one of the hardest things for beginners to get going, is finding where to put that the first stitch for round 2, because it can be kind of confusing. But if you just count back from your last one, 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that should be your first stitch that you're going to work into. And for this beanie pattern, we're working in the round, meaning that we're just working in a circle the entire time, putting an increase or 2 single crochets into each stitch. And as you go, you want to put your crochet hook under the 2 of both of these loops, not just under the front one or the back one. And that's something that you'll learn throughout Crocheting 101 as well. Okay. You can use the front and back loops for specific things. In fact, we use the front and back loops when we get to the brim, but for right now, you're just working into both. So for round 2, which is what I'm about to start here, we're doing an increase into each stitch all the way around. And an increase means that we're putting 2 single crochets into that one stitch. So there I just put 1 single crochet into that stitch. Here's our second one. And that's going to bring you up from 6 stitches to 12 stitches. And again, this part of the video, I know there's not a lot of beginners in the video, in the chat right now. I just took those stitches out so I could crochet around the tail. I know there's probably not a lot of beginners in the chat right now, but I'm just saying this just in case other people are watching later on and they need help along the way. Okay. So by putting an increase into each stitch all the way around, I'm gonna have 12 stitches around. Does anybody have any crochet questions whatsoever? It doesn't have to be for beginners. It could just be a crochet question in general. Yeah, feel free to let me know in the chat. Okay, so I just finished round 2. For round 2, I did an increase into each stitch, which brought us up to 12 stitches. Now for round 3, I'm doing a single crochet into the first stitch, which is this stitch right here. and then an increase into the next stitch. So that's basically how increasing works for mostly for like amigurumi, is you do one single crochet and then an increase, and then you increase the amount of single crochets between increases. That sounds a little confusing, but it'll make more sense as we go along further. Painted World Fiber Arts asks, what size will the beanie be? I'm making this beanie to be to fit my size, which I believe in the pattern is a medium. Yeah, I think it's a medium size. Basically, I'm getting to where there's 12 times 6, which would be 72 stitches around. We want to get to the point where we're at 72 stitches around, and then we'll go straight down after that. Okay, so I'm on round 3, and I did a single crochet, and then into the next stitch, which is right here, I'm going to do an increase, meaning the 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. Okay, so we got single crochet, increase, and then you just repeat that 6 times total, and then you'll end up going from 12 stitches to 18. I'm going to take the stitches out really quick because I want to add a stitch marker. And how you add a stitch marker in, I mean, there's a lot of different ways people add stitch markers, but the way that I am going to add my stitch marker in is, first I'm going to find this little extra yarn that's a different color, so we're going to go with this one. And we're going to cut a long strand of it. There we go. And we're just going to take the end here. Here's my last single crochet from the previous round. I'm just going to take the end, and I'm actually just going to crochet around it, so you can see in the back. I'm just gonna boop, crochet around it, and that's gonna hold it in place. I'm gonna pull it in front, and this is literally just to keep track of where we're at. And this might be a little long, so let's cut it a little shorter. Yes, I'm using a size I9 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Brian asks, is it good to count each round? In the beginning, for sure. It's definitely good to count each round because you want to make sure that you have the right amount of stitches in every single round as you go around, or else it'll get kind of confusing. But as you get further along, as you start to recognize the difference between increases and decreases and single crochets, you don't have to count stitches anymore. So like personally, I don't usually count stitches. Right now, I'm not counting stitches. All I'm doing is I'm looking at where my last increase is, and I'm putting an increase into the last increase. So I'll show that as I go into the next round. I'll show exactly what I'm talking about there. But yeah, it's a technique that you use to notice, or so you don't have to count stitches. And as I'm going, I'm trying to crochet a little loose. I don't want to crochet it too tight because it's easier. It's better to be loose than it is to be tight, I think, because if it's tight, you can't get it on your head. But if it's loose enough, you can at least like wear it, you know? And you can tighten it up at the brim. So, which will be in a little bit. Okay, so now I'm on round 4. For round 4, I'm doing 2 single crochets and then an increase, and I'm repeating that 6 times total, and that's gonna bring me up from 18 stitches to 24 stitches. And for this round, I'm gonna show you how I'm doing with how I'm crocheting without counting stitches at all. So here's our first increase. I'll show you for the next increase where it goes. So it'll be 2 single crochets, and then an increase. And if you look, this is a part where I need to change the focus again. So if you look closely, you can see what increasing stitches look like. Here's a single crochet. See how there's just one V? Just one V right there? This next one right here, that's an increase. You can see there's 2 V's, 1 and 2, into one spot. Whereas the regular single crochet, right there. Okay, so when I increase a round, I just make the increases. Here you can see there's an increase, and there's an increase. I just make the increases go evenly up. That way I don't have to count stitches. I just make sure that the increases are in the right spots. So the increases are going to go where the second stitch from the previous increase was. So I'll explain that during my next increase right here, but it's going to go right here. So I'm about to make an increase, meaning 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. And when I do that, here's the first single crochet, 1, and here's the second one. Now the second one, you can look at the top, okay? So there's the first stitch. Here's that little V from the top of the first stitch. Here's our second increase. The next increase in the next round is gonna go right where this one was, right where the second single crochet in that round is. Okay, so not this stitch, but this stitch. Okay, so that's how I work around without counting stitches. Is that I just look where that increase can go, so that it'll increase evenly all the way up. Okay, Josh, what are you're late? You're late? That's okay. So Josh, you are a somewhat new crocheter, maybe? I'm not sure, but. So this is gonna be round 4, and like I said before, it's gonna go up from 18 stitches to 24 stitches around. So I'm at the end of the round here. For round 5, we're going to do a random Iggly has appeared. For round 5, we're going to do 3 single crochets and then an increase. You can kind of see how the pattern is working here. We're adding a single crochet in between each round. So round 4, we did 2 single crochets. Round 3, we did 1 single crochet. And you can see it right there. There's 1 single crochet, there's 2 single crochets. It's going to get wider and wider and wider as it goes on. And before I start the next round, I want to pull up the stitch marker in front like that, so I can work around it so I know where the end of the round is. And that's just going to make it a little bit easier. Okay, Josh, you're a newbie. So you have your yarn and your crochet hook, right? Iggly's, I think, a newbie too? So again, I'm on round 5. It's 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. By the way, Josh and Iggly, I know you guys are somewhat new. Don't worry about this pattern yet. You need to work up to this point. But during this video, feel free to ask any questions. I'll take some time out and help you out as much as you need. So last time, I think Iggly was working on her chains. I think that was a few weeks ago. Chains are the first thing that you want to learn when you're when you're learning to crochet. It's not like the most used thing that you're going to need, but you'll need it for understanding kind of like how the crochet hook and the yarn kind of feels in your hand, how to work it, at least to get started. Okay, so Iggly's just kind of chilling today. That's all right. Okay. Our last increases right here. Okay, so that was the end of round 5. And now I'm going to take our stitch marker, pull it up a little bit, get it almost all the way through. I want this little end to be just barely poking out like that. Put it around so you can kind of see where the stitch marker is showing where the end of the rounds are. For our next round, which is round 6, we're going to just be doing a single crochet into each stitch. this is a great time where you can count your stitches as you're going to make sure you're on track. So there should be 30 stitches around, which is what we got to in the previous round. And yeah, so when you have these times where there's single crochets in every stitch, all you have to do is you just do a single crochet in every stitch and just count and make sure that you're on track. It's a good time, and it's also a good time to just like kind of chill, because you don't really need to think very much. You just need to just make sure you're just putting a single crochet into each stitch. Something that's kind of hard to do with crocheting, and I know that it's something that a lot of beginners have difficulty with, is noticing where stitches are. Because this is something that I was talking about with Jules. In knitting, you can see where your stitches are on your needle, but with crocheting, you can't really see the loops. See, like right here, there's a loop, but in knitting, it'll look like this, kind of. See how there's like a bunch of loops, so it's really easy to count them. But in crocheting, you don't really have that luxury. So what you got to do is, instead of counting those loops, you got to notice where the stitches are and count those, which are all these little V's on the top. But not only do you have to look at these V's on the top, but it's also good to look at these V's on the side so you know where the increases are. And like I was saying, the best way to make sure that you're doing it right is to make sure that these increases are going up evenly all the way up. I know there's a lot of information coming out, but again, this is kind of just a time when you can, like, I'm trying to do this so that you can re-watch this video later, maybe get a little bit more help. Although there is a full-length video tutorial for this beanie pattern in Crocheting 101. Okay, so let's see, where are we at in the chat here? Yeah, second time crocheting something is always better. So this is something I was actually writing about last night. I'm working on a whole new set of tutorials for amigurumi, and pretty much 100% of the time, my first time I crochet something, like, I'll do it right, but it won't be perfect. So let's take like these monsters for example. This is the monster that I did on Monday. He's okay, but I know all the mistakes that I've done, and next time around I would do it better. I mean, there's a curve, right? So like at a certain point, I'm not gonna get any better. But for the second time, it's always gonna be easier. It's always gonna be better. So that's just something you're gonna have to work with. It's practice. It really is practice. Practice makes perfect for everything that you do. Okay, wow, Josh, you already made it to chapter 4. Form a blob, but still learning, so try again later though. Wow, great! Oh my gosh, you're doing great. Hey Sarah, how are you? Painted World Fiber Art says she still has issues making a square that is not flat, meaning that it like goes like this, like that. I'm assuming you mean like that, not like, so it's not like flat like that. The problem there is probably the tightness at which you're crocheting. It might be the increasing, so you might be like increasing it, increasing awkwardly throughout, like you know, not putting increases evenly around, but I think you kind of know what you're, I think you kind of, once you kind of get the increases right, that's not really as much of an issue as your tightness. And tightness and looseness of crocheting is pretty much the last thing that you're gonna ever learn. And I mean that like consistently throughout your crocheting. I still am working on my gauge, which is the tightness and looseness of my crocheting. Sometimes I go through phases where I'm crocheting really, really loose, like too loose. Sometimes I'm going through phases where I'm crocheting way too tight. I know for this guy, I crocheted him way tighter than I wish I had. I wish I'd crocheted this guy a lot looser. but that's just something that you kind of find with time. It depends how stressed you are that day. It's kind of difficult to gauge, huh? Tension, yeah, that's the tightness. Melbell asks, can I talk about how that last row is curling a bit? When I was new, it scared me so much because I thought I messed up. Yeah, okay, so you can see this last row here that I just did is curling up. See how it's like that? That's supposed to happen actually. So as I was doing increasing, it was going out evenly, making it really flat. But on this last round, I was just doing single crochets. So basically think of it, I wish I had a piece of paper to draw on. Oh, here we go. 1 second. Okay, so as you go out, as you're increasing, it's gonna be, like evenly like that. You're basically increasing out like that way, right? But as you, so all these rounds are increasing evenly. So in the beginning, right here, you had 6, and then you had 12, and then you had 18, 24, let's go out one more, to 30. That's where we're at right now, okay? Now we wanted to just add 1 single crochet in each, meaning that the count stays the same. So we got up to 30, but now we want to just put a single crochet in each stitch. That's gonna make it go that way. It's gonna make it go like that, which is supposed to happen because, you know, we're making a beanie, so we want it to be like that. So we went like this, and then we want to go like that, and then like that, that. So next round, after this round, we're gonna go out twice. So it'll be 36, and then it'll go up to 42, and then it'll go straight up for 1, and then like that. So you can kind of see how it's going like that steadily. Yeah, so it will curl up as you do just regular single crochets, but that's supposed to happen. Yeah. And again, that's something that happens with what Jules was talking about, tension. Okay, so now I have finished round 6. I'm on round 7. For round 7, I'm gonna, like I said before, right there, we're gonna be increasing up from 30 stitches to 36 stitches. That means we need 6 increases. To put them evenly throughout, we're gonna single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then increase once, and then we're gonna repeat that 6 times total. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So we're gonna single crochet 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're gonna do an increase right here. And if you look down through the pattern, you can see here's an increase, here's an increase. It's kind of hard to see. Let's see. Here's an increase, here's an increase, here's an increase. Here's just a regular single crochet because we didn't do any increases in the last round. But this next increase is going to still match up evenly as we go up. We'll see. See? So it'll go straight up and down like that. See how they all line up? And again, it's hard to tell where increases are. That's something that comes with time as you're looking at crochet over and over and over again. Yeah, tightness of crochet is really, it's really a difficult thing to control. Like Melbell said, if you're crocheting it, so like Melbell said, a lot of people tell you just get a bigger crochet hook, but that's only going to help so much. Because look, like this crochet hook could be, it doesn't matter how big, but if I start like pulling it really tight, it's gonna like, see, look how much it's gonna like pull in like that. So you can visibly see how it's like awkwardly different. So it's a lot more about practicing like how tightly you're holding it, how stressed out your like your grip is. than it is your crochet hook size. It just takes practice is all. The cat is meowing at me from the other room. Yeah, but I think more important than doing it perfect right now, Josh, is doing it correctly. So it's better to make sure that you're getting the right stitches in the right places than getting the stitches to look perfectly. Okay. Hey Vanessa, how are you? Okay. This is gonna be a nice color for another beanie for me too. I really like this Vanna's Choice yarn for a couple reasons. First off, it's relatively cheap. It's only like $3 a ball, and that's you know, that's pretty cheap for yarn. But it's not bad yarn. It's just, I mean, it's not the best yarn in the world, but it's pretty good for beanies. It stays warm. I'll make sure Jiminy knows that you said hi there. Okay, so that's the end of round 7. We're on round 8 now. And for round 8, we're going to be increasing again from 36 to 42 stitches. So the last round we did 4 single crochets and then an increase. And here you're seeing the pattern. We want to go up to 42 stitches. So what we do is we single crochet 5 times and then we do an increase in the next. Okay? Now, if you look at that count, you can kind of see where there's a lot of math when it comes to this. You know, it's simple multiplication and division, but there is definitely math that comes involved. So if you look, we want to have 42 stitches around. If you divide that by 6, which is the amount we've been increasing every single round, then you'll see that you'll get 7. So that means on the seventh stitch should be an increase. So let me show you what I mean. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll have 6 and 7. So 6 and 7 should be an increase. So 5 single crochets and then an increase. And then we're going to repeat that 6 times total. That'll bring you up from 32 or 36 stitches to 42 stitches because you're adding 6 more stitches in. Yeah, I'm usually not very picky about yarn. I really don't like red heart yarn though. I'm not really a fan of red heart. I like Lion Brand's yarn a lot. I think they have good yarn. I think my favorite brand of yarn is Lily Sugar Cream, but that's because I make a lot of amigurumi, and it's good yarn for amigurumi. And they have a lot of colors, and it's relatively cheap. Karen Simple Soft, it's not bad. Yeah. Jules likes using a lot more, she's a knitter, not a crocheter, but she likes using a lot, I guess I would say higher end yarn. And it is really good yarn. Like, she knows what she's doing, definitely. But I make so many projects that need so many different colors that I just can't afford to use the same kind of yarn. So you need different kind of yarn for different kind of projects. And since I make a lot of amigurumi, I'm not really aiming for yarn that is necessarily like super soft or super a specific fiber. I'm looking more towards color and weight. Okay, so that was the end of round 8. Yep, 8. Now we're going to do just a single crochet into each stitch around. Again, we are making it go, we're gonna make it go out a little bit. So it's gonna keep going up like this, you know. Right now this is inside out. This is the top. So if you look at the final one, this, what we're making right now, is this. Okay, so we're going like out like that. It looks like we're going out like that, but that's just because it's just curling in instead of curling out, and that's fine. It works either way. So for this round, it's just a simple single crochet into every stitch all the way around. Now I'm hoping I have enough time to finish this beanie in this video, but I'm running a little bit slow here. Slower than I'd like. But once we get to just, once we get to the size that we want, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy from there on. It's just pretty repetitive. Okay. Yeah, so our last round was what I call my 7s. And I call it my 7s because we did 42 stitches around, and then I divided by 6 to get 7. Everything's going to be divided by 6 into in this pattern pretty much, and that is basically because I want it to be even, and I started with 6 single crochets in a circle. So if I want it to be even, then I'm increasing out 6 times every single round to make it evenly making into a circle. Because if I did like 4 around, then it's not going to be. I mean, I guess you could still make it go even, but it won't, like, it'll go up more. Okay, no, I didn't see Josh's question. Let me scroll up real quick. Josh asks, how do I remember where to stop and start when it comes to practice? That's a good question. I suppose the answer to that would be, it's hard to continue going. Once you make one mess up, you have to go back and make it right. Because if you keep going with your one mess up, it's really going to screw you up as you go further and further along. So if I put an increase into the wrong place on this, I'm gonna not only have to notice that where that increase is, but I'm gonna have to remember that as I go further and further so that it evenly goes out. So my answer to your question is until you mess up. Once you mess up, go back and fix your mess up and continue on. Don't worry about the tightness. Don't worry about the like how it literally looks, but worry about if the stitches are correct. Worry about if the stitches look technically right. They might not look pretty, but if they look technically right. So a technically right single crochet should look like, you know, like this, like where there's a V there and there's a V on the top. Okay, it shouldn't look really any different than that at all. So if you're looking back and you see like, oh, that stitch looks really weird. Why does that stitch look weird? Go back and figure it out. Go back and look at it. Yeah, and like Melville said, I would agree with her there. You always want to stop at the end of a row or a round and recount, especially when you're just getting going. You need to make sure that you got the right count of stitches at the end of a round. And if you're following along with Crocheting 101, it tells you a lot about where the end of the round, you know, like about how rounds work and steps. Rounds are basically like blueprints or like steps of a pattern. Okay, so we're on our next round. I think we're on round 9 maybe? And we did our single crochet round, so now we want to increase up We are at 42 stitches, but we want to increase 6 times, so we're going to be at 48 stitches. And if you divide 48 by 6, you're going to notice that we're on our 8s, is what I call it. Okay, so that means that you're going to single crochet 6 times, and then you're going to increase 7 and 8. And you're going to repeat that 6 times total. And that's going to bring you up from 42 to 48 stitches. Let's do it again. We're going to single crochet 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then right here, 7 and an 8. Okay. Yeah, bobby pins definitely make good stitch markers. I bought a bunch of stitch markers that I include with Crocheting 101 kits, but they're not the best. I don't really like stitch markers that much in general, let alone ones that like lock in place. I'm not a huge fan of ones that lock, because it takes a long time to unlock them at the end of the round. Okay. Let me see if anybody's tagged me in any posts or anything. Okay. All right. Okay. So no questions yet, but if you have any posts, if you have any pictures that you want to send in and ask for any advice, just make sure to tag me on whatever you posted on, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Crafty Amino, what have you. Just make sure that you tag me in it so that I can see it, and then let me know in the comments. Anybody have any other crochet questions? Doesn't have to be for new crocheting things. You can ask pretty much any questions. Yesterday I was writing a lot about color changes. I think I wrote like a 3-page paper on how to do color changes. I'm calling it Color Change 2.0. And the whole idea is there is learning how to control your color changes in a very I guess controlled manner, in really making sure that you get the right shapes and stuff. So I'm working right now on a pattern for kind of like a dinosaur. Oh wait, here, let me explain this next round before I continue. That's a great question, Melbell, and I'll get to that too in a second. So we just finished our round of 8s, meaning that we did 48 stitches around. We increased up to 48 stitches around, which meant that we single crocheted 6, and then we increased 1, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we're going to do our 9s, which means that we're going to single crochet 7 and then increase up. 7, 8, 9. The 8, 9 is an increase, and you're going to repeat that 6 times total. Okay. So I'll single crochet 7. Open this up real quick. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry, I need to open up. There we go. 7, and then here's our increase. 8 and 9, and as we look through, our increases just go up evenly. Okay, there's the last increase. Okay. Okay, Melbell asks, what got me into crocheting? So I got really crafty in high school. I started making gifts for just friends, and yeah, I mean, I think I've always been crafty, but I started making a lot of like journals for people and mix CDs and stuff like that. But then I saw something crocheted online. It was like a little octopus. And I just thought it was so cool, the idea that you could make your own like toy. I kind of thought of it as working with clay, but instead of clay, it was obviously yarn. And I just thought that was such a cool idea. And then I just started making things for, I started crocheting a lot of things for friends, some for girls that I had crushes on. And yeah, that's kind of what got me into it, was just the idea that you could make anything that you wanted, you could make it in by using crochet. Okay, I'm just opening up this the PDF for the beanie real quick. I just want to make sure I'm not telling you guys false things, which I'm pretty sure I'm not. So yeah, okay, we're on track. Okay. My foot is super duper asleep, but that's okay. Okay, how to get color changes to line up is a good one. Yes, yeah, that's a great one. So that's actually what I was talking about in like that. I'm gonna call it a script because it literally is gonna be a script. It's also gonna be a blog post and stuff, but you know how I do. I pretty much make videos, everything. What was the first thing I ever made for Jules? And Jules says that she can answer that if I forget. Go ahead, Jules. What did I make? What did I make you first? I know what I made her last. It might be in here. I think it's in the other room. I made her a pod puppet. I don't think that's the first thing I ever made her, but maybe it is, I don't know. Oh, that's right, a Pokeball. Yes, it was a Pokeball. That was like that was during our first like crocheting and knitting like coupley get-togethery thing. I mean, I would say it was before we were technically a couple. A whale? No, I think it was a Pokeball. I'm pretty sure it was a Pokeball. Yeah, it's in your apartment right now. It's on your bookcase. Yeah, we are nerds. I mean, Jules is more of a nerd than me. No, that's not true, actually. As you can see, my Iron Man right there. I don't know if Iron Man constitutes as nerdy anymore since Marvel got so popular. Okay. Yeah, so that color change thing that I was telling you about was a lot about exactly what you were saying. Painted World Fiber Arts. It's about making sure everything is lined up correctly. Okay, so I finished, let's see, that was round 11. So we're on round 12. For round 12, you're going to do just a single crochet into each stitch around. Again, we're going up. So our last round, we did our 9s, right? So it was 7 single crochets and then an increase. And that brought us up from 48 stitches to 54 stitches. So we should have 54 stitches around now. And so for this next round, we want to just do a single crochet into each stitch all the way around. There should be 54 stitches around. And again, this is a great time for you to count your stitches if you're crocheting along with me. So we're going to place our stitch marker in front. You can see our stitch marker there. It's showing where the end of the round is. Okay. Just makes it a little bit easier for us. Yeah, it was really hard to write that color change thing because there's so many different things that I wanted to talk about, you know? I wanted to talk about color changing just the top of a stitch. I wanted to talk about how stitches, you know, pull slightly to the right as you're crocheting, and how you can remedy that. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good rough draft. I'm gonna have to go through. why do I use single crochets instead of double crochets for your beanie? That's a great question. Two reasons that come to the top of my head. First reason is double crochet stitches leave huge holes in your crocheting, which is something that, I mean, crochet already leaves really big holes in your crochet or in your stuff, but double crochets leave really big holes. So let me just show you. So I've been doing single crochets here. I'm going to switch over to double crochets just for a sec, and you'll see what I mean. And when you're making like a beanie, you don't want that many holes because like it's not going to keep you warm. So see how big those holes are? They leave like giant holes in it. And I don't like that for my beanies because the point of my beanie is to keep me warm, and so I don't want too many holes. It gives out heat, yeah. But the other reason, and I think the more realistic reason that I make at least my classic beanie with single crochets is because you're using pretty much everything that you've learned throughout Crocheting 101, and I think single crochets are the most useful crochet stitch to perfect, because you can use it for not only being like everything uses a single crochet. Also, ooh, that's a good question, Vanessa, and I'll get to that in a second too. I use single crochets in my amigurumi. I use them in obviously in my beanies, in gloves, in socks, in everything. So that's why I like using single crochets. I also really like the look of a single crochet. So I think they just look so clean, especially single crochets in the round. I really like single crochets in the round. I don't really like single crochets in the flat or when you turn around. I don't really like that look that much. Double crochets can look nice, but and you can get a lot made faster. So like, because they're double crochets, they're literally double the size of a single crochet. You can get them, you can make a lot more a lot quicker. So that's kind of a nice thing about double crochets. Okay, so we're at the end now of round 12. We're gonna move on to round 13. And then I will explain the difference between single crochets and a double crochet. Okay, so for round 13, we're gonna take our stitch marker, put it in place in the front. We want to do our tens. And remember, when I say that, it sounds like a weird thing, but it just means that we're doing 8 single crochets, and then and then our last 2 stitches are an increase. So 8 single crochets, increase, repeat 6 times total. It'll bring you up from 54 stitches to 60 stitches. I call it tens because 60 divided by 6 is 10. Okay, so the difference between a single crochet and a double crochet. I don't know what the waistcoat stitch is. I got ahead of myself in the chat. But the difference between a single crochet and a double crochet. Single crochet is literally just one. I guess if you were going to crochet, this would be like one dimension of height, right? So one single crochet would be like, we're gonna say a single crochet is a dimension, one dimension. A slip stitch, which a slip stitch is when you go into the stitch and you pull it through and then you just pull it through again like that. You skip like a whole section. That I would consider being like half of a dimension of height. Double crochet is double the dimension of height. So you're kind of making 2 single crochets on top of each other. How you make it is you yarn over and then you insert into the crochet hook or into the stitch, pull a loop through, and then you'll have 3 loops on the hook. You yarn over and pull through 2, essentially making a single crochet. So you can kind of see that looks a little bit like a single crochet right there. But then you're gonna make another single crochet on top of that by yarning over and pulling through 2 again. So it looks like single crochet, see? 2 on top of each other. That's double crochet. They look just like a very tall single crochet. And you can keep doing that process over and over. There's triple crochet and then probably quadruple crochet, but I've never really done that. Brian says that a waistcoat stitch is never uneven and always straight. So I don't know what a waistcoat stitch is, but is it the one stitch where instead of going into the tops of these loops like this, you go into the center of the stitch, like, it's hard to do, but like this, like that? Because that, I really do like that stitch. Whatever that is, I really like that stitch because it does make it even all the way up. That's something that I actually want to try working on for amigurumi because I think it would benefit because of that, the horizontal, the vertical color changes that I could do with that. Yes, okay, cool. Yes, I do, you're right. I do really like that stitch a lot. It's something that I've been trying to, I've been wanting to experiment with a lot more, but I just really haven't had the chance to play around with it yet. Because I know it's just gonna change my world. You know what I mean? So, I always do this when it comes to crocheting. I always put off things that I know are going to be a beneficial thing for me to start doing, but it's just gonna change the way I crochet forever. So everything that I've been doing prior, I need to like revamp. I'll look at it, back at it, and I'll be like, ugh, that's when I did this. A good example of that is the eyes for my amigurumi. I used to make the eyes using bullion knots, which are kind of like, they're knots made with yarn instead of using safety beads, which are this guy is made with safety bead eyes. See, they're like little plastic eyes. They just look so clean. But I used to use bullion knots, and now when I look back at the work that I made with bullion knots, I'm always like, oh, that was that phase when I didn't admit that it was time to move on to safety bead eyes. And that's how I kind of feel with the waistcoat stitch. Okay. Oopsies. So I just increased one early. And this is the size that you're going to be making if you want to make an extra small beanie. That would be probably a good size for a toddler, or probably not a baby. This might be a little too large for a baby, but probably a toddler. So maybe like 3, maybe even 4. Especially, it depends on how loosely you're crocheting. If you're crocheting very tight, then yeah. And so if you wanted to make this the extra small size, you would now skip to just the single crochets into each stitch, which I'll explain a little bit more as when I get to that point. But in the pattern it says skip now to size N for the extra small size, and I'll explain size N in just a second. Okay, so that's going to be the end of round 13. For round 14, we are going to make a single crochet into each stitch around, and you should have 60 stitches now all the way around. So we're almost to the point where we're just going to keep repeating just single crochets into each stitch, and when it gets to that point, I don't need to pay attention at all. I just keep rocking and rolling. But yeah, so, oh, Melbell, thank you. I'll actually talk about that real quick. So if you got a second and you'd like to help me out a little bit, please take the survey that Melbell just posted in the chat. It's a survey that I made for live streams so that I can find out what is the best time to live stream, where is the best place to live stream. Yeah. Now, I think I need to reach out to people that aren't currently watching the live stream, because I think their input, especially about the timing, would be really nice. But I need surveys regardless. Yeah, so please, if you got a sec, just give me your feedback. What do you think of my live streams? What times work best for you? What kind of live streams would you like to watch in the future? Would you want to watch more patterns like this one, where I explain the pattern as we crochet it together, or what? Oh, thank you very much, Sarah. Thanks for doing the survey. Yeah, and these sizes all depend on how tightly you're crocheting too. So I'm actually crocheting kind of tightly right now, so I'm gonna go up to a medium size. Maybe even, I'll probably go up to medium. I think that's what I did for this beanie, and this beanie to my left is a perfect size. So let me look at that real quick. I'll see how big I made that one after the end of this round. And again, this is round 14 that we're on. Thank you very much, Josh. Okay, that's the end of round 14. Let me just count my stitches on the final project so I can make sure that I'm making it the right size, although I'm pretty sure I'm going to be fine. Yep, that's what I thought. Going up to 12s. Okay, so now we're going to be doing our 11sies. So for this round, we're going to be single crocheting 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we'll be doing an increase, 10 and 11. And then you're going to repeat that 6 times total. That's going to bring you up from 60 stitches to 66 stitches. You can tell that I talk about I do this a lot because I know exactly how many stitches are. I used to make these beanies all the time. I think I probably made over 500 of these beanies in my time. When I first started crocheting, this is an original pattern, but when I first started crocheting, I made this pattern and people liked it quite a lot. And so a lot of friends started asking me to crochet them a beanie. And then I did like kind of a fundraiser thing, and then I started selling them at yard sales and stuff. Yeah, but I have made so many of these beanies. It's insane. They're just quick-ish. They're easy to make. They're warm. They look pretty cool, I think. You can wear them as a slouchy beanie, as not a slouchy beanie. Yeah, I like this. I like this pattern a lot. It's one of my favorites that I've come up with.
And it's doing your living organism and all its behavior. It's expressing it. As a singer
So, I have tea. Never crochet without tea. It's just a bad move. Like, why would you? Just kidding. I crochet without tea way too often. sometimes I'm a no-tea boy. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we're almost done now with round 15. We'll move on to just a single crochet round. That mega dad joke. Mega dad. You know how often I'm going to use that joke when I'm a father? An insane amount. Okay, move this stitch marker up a little bit. Okay, so now we're on round 16, which is just a single crochet in each stitch. You should have 66 stitches if you're following along with me. And right now is the time when you should skip to round N, which we'll be doing in just a few things, or if you're following along on the pattern, it'll be round N for a size small beanie. Yeah, so for a size small, skip to round N. Crisscross applesauce. Let's move this closer. Ooh, did you hear that? That back crack? Oh, move the table. All right. Jules, I think your hair. Yep, that's your hair. Which is fine because this is gold anyhow. Yeah, I used to make these beanies all the time, and I just got so bored with making them because, again, I think I've made over 500 of these probably. And I mean, after a while, it's just like once you understand a pattern, it can be really annoying to remake the pattern over and over and over and over and over again because it's just like you just feel like a 3D printer. You know, I'm just like, duh. There's no design that's involved. Once you understand it, I mean, it's really fun to do before that. And now I have fun doing it every now and then. Like, I'd like to make one of these beanies every month now during one of these Crocheting 101 lives. But, but it's not fun to do these beanies repeatedly over and over throughout the, yeah. Also started to hurt my wrist because I was making so many. I did get to the point, however, where I would crochet them and close my eyes. So I just like close my eyes. I think I already screwed up. Oh, no I didn't. And see how far I could get with crocheting with my eyes closed. Now I'd get pretty far, like, and I remember once or twice I had closed my eyes and crocheted, and I actually fell asleep in mid crocheting, and I woke up and I had finished an entire round that I don't remember doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it is a possibility once you get this muscle memory, motor control down. Just repetitive motions. All right, so we have just finished round 16. You just finished round 16. Now we will move on to round 17, which for me is going to be my last round of increasing, which I'll explain at the end of the round what I'm talking about there. But we're going to be doing our 12s, is what I'm calling it, which means we're doing a single crochet into the next 10 stitches. So 1, 2, I mean, you probably kind of know the the gist of what I'm talking about here. Like, because we've been doing, you know, this same pretty much pattern throughout. We're doing 10 single crochets. There we go. And then an increase. 11 and 12. And then you're going to repeat that 6 times total. And that's going to bring you up from 66 stitches to our largest count of single crochets that we're going to get into this pattern, 72 stitches. So you can go bigger than this, and I'll explain how after this round, but for me, 72 stitches is the gist. That's as big as I'm going to go, because this is about the size medium, which is a good size for pretty much anyone that has like a small / normal size head. So I don't think I have a huge head. I think I've got a pretty much a normal sized head, and I think this is a good size. I also sometimes can wear a size large, but usually I go with a medium. It's a little bit snugger to my head. A size large is a little loose, but I kind of like that. You know, it's kind of like a nice, like a slouchy beanie kind of feel to it. Okay, so I missed an increase, our second increase. Yep, missed it. So I'm gonna go back, throw my joke in there. Whoops, there we go. Easy fix though. I could stop now and I could have a yarmulke. You know how many times I have heard that, Jules? Probably as much as people like telling you, you could stop now and have a vest. But I could have a yarmulke. It'd be a pretty, that's a pretty large yarmulke though. Looks like a mountain. Like a honey mountain. Honey Mountain, band name. That's a good band name. What do you think? Honey Mountain. What kind of band would Honey Mountain be? Like a folk band? It's a good song name. That is a good song. Jules, you should write a song called Honey Mountain. Jules is a singer-songwriter. She's got a band called Baird and Beluga, and they just wrote their first EP, or recorded their first EP, and it's being mixed right now. I don't know what it's going to be called. They might just do each song individually, but the songs are really, really good. I've heard them about a million times, they're very, very good songs. I never get sick of them. But they should be coming out with it. When? When would you say, Jules? Okay, so we're just about done with our 17th round. So, if you want to, this is going to be where we're going to stop for a size medium. What I mean by stop is, I mean, this is where we're going to stop making it bigger and doing increases. If you want to make it larger, if you want to make size large or even an extra large, you'll be single crocheting into the next round, and then doing your increasing round, which would be your 13s. You'd do 11 single crochets, then an increase, and you'd end up at 78 stitches. And if you wanted to do a size extra large, you'd be doing another round of single crochets, and then a round of increasing to go up. You do 12 single crochets and then an increase, repeating 6 times. That'll bring you up to 84 stitches, I think. I wouldn't go bigger than extra large. I can't imagine anybody's wearing larger than extra large. Extra large would be like a good size for someone that wants to like put their hair in the beanie. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, but we're gonna be making a size medium. So from here on, what I'm going to do is, remember how I was calling these like 12s and 11s? So we just did our 12s, right? So 12s meaning that we have 72 stitches. We divide it by 6 and we get 12. Okay, that number is important because now we're just going to be doing a single crochet into each stitch all the way around. And we're going to be doing that as many times as our number is. So we did our 12, so we're gonna do 12 rounds of single crochets. This is gonna make it go like this. So we did our width. We did how wide we want it to be to fit on my head, you know? So if I put it on my head, it's gonna be like that wide. Now we just need to go straight down. And that's what the single crochets are gonna do. Single crochets in each round, it's gonna make it go just like that, okay? And you want to do it 12 times for a size medium. If you were to get to a size large, you'd be doing your 13, so you do 13 single crochets. So this next wave is just really sitting there doing single crochets all the way around, and I don't really need to think at all for this part. So if you have any questions whatsoever, let me know in the comments about anything. Amigurumi, my personal life. You want to tell me something? How was your week? What are you working on? You got any questions about how to make certain stitches, or ideas about videos that you'd like to see me make in the future? Projects that I'm working on, you know, all the questions, all of them. Ooh, I like this song. May. Jules says that she will be coming out with the EP in May? Question mark. Yeah, I like this music a lot. It's very chill, which works well with crocheting. Speaking of chill, what's your favorite kind of... Oh, wait. How do you not get confused or forget your number? When I was crocheting in chapter 4 in increasing, I forgot my number and had to redo because I forgot. So that is a very good question. In the beginning of your crocheting experience, I guess, you want to, it probably would help if you wrote it down, or if you're following along in a PDF. I know that in my PDFs, let's see, I don't know if it's the case with, it might be the case with this, let me see. I know in a lot of my PDFs, I put check marks so that you can keep track of where you're at. But a good thing to do maybe would be like write it down on a piece of paper, check mark where you're at. Yeah, Painted World Fiber Art says that she writes it down. But yeah, in my oh, it's not really loading right. There we go. In my PDFs, especially for things like this beanie, I'll show you on the screen. I actually have, this is what I do for all of my stuff. Let me see if I can zoom it in. There we go. I actually put in check mark things. So basically all my patterns on Club Crochet, you can open up in, I'm currently in Adobe Acrobat, the app for that. And you actually have check marks all down it. And you can open it on your computer as well. And so you can put like a little check mark so you know when you have finished a round. So you can keep track of where you're at. That's just like something that I do for all my Club Crochet patterns. But if you don't have, if you're working on a pattern and it doesn't have this option, then a good, another good option is just to write it down. Yeah. Also, all the Club Crochet patterns are built so that you can read them on all your mobile devices. So if you're working on, yeah, they're all built so that you can read them on mobile. It's supposed to fit perfectly, which I think it does. It's pretty evident here. But yeah, it's supposed to fit perfectly on your mobile device, so you can just read it along like that. This is the pattern for the beanie. Yeah, and you can download it and all that fun stuff. Thanks, Painted World. Yeah, I remember when I figured that out. I knew I wanted to add check marks, but I thought I would just have to add little boxes in. But then I learned how to make them into a PDF. I learned how to use Adobe InDesign really well, so I'm a big Adobe fan. Makes me sound like I'm a I'm a fan made out of Adobe. Like anyhow. Where can you download it? That's a good question. Let me, I might be able to share it in the chat. Let me see. Oopsie. Yeah, I think, one second. I think I can share it in the chat. I'm gonna use my other YouTube account. Yeah, there we go. It might not let me do this. Let's see. Oh yeah, see, it didn't let me do it. Let me see if I can just, I'll just text it to myself or something so I can see it on the screen. And then I'll just copy and paste it in. There it is. Once my computer loads. There it is. Okay, right here. I'll see you later, Sarah. There you go. That is the pattern that we're working on right now. I should have done that in the beginning, but that's the pattern for the beanie. That's the PDF. No problemo. Yeah, that one's fine. Thank you for trying though, Melbell. I really appreciate it. You're very good at this. Also, the amount of yarn that you're gonna need for one of these beanies is, I'm using this Vanna's Choice, and the Vanna's Choice is 170 yards, and that's, I always have like a little bit extra left over at the end of 170. So you probably need less than 170, but maybe like around 150. But you will probably be really nervous if you're at 150, because you'll get to near the end and you're like, oh my god, am I gonna have enough yarn? Which is always a little bit scary. The 170 gives me just enough yarn, so not only can I finish it, but usually I can also make like a pom-pom if I want to add that to the top of it. Kind of nice. I won't be making a pom-pom for this pattern, but yeah. Just a lot of single crochets from here on. So I've been working on this book, my next book after Crocheting 101. Well, actually, I should start with, I've been working on fixing up Crocheting 101 so that it fits as a, so I can get it printed, because I want to get printed versions of the book, because people keep asking if they could purchase like a printed version. And my problem was I built it originally so that it fit perfectly on my phone, like I was saying. So I didn't have it. I didn't have it like published in the right formatting, so I've had to reformat the entire book so that it can be printed, which is something I'm working on. But I'm also working on Amigurumi 101, which is going to be a book about how to make amigurumi. And it's going to be less of a book and more of like an ongoing series of videos and blog posts. It's gonna be everything from how to literally design amigurumi, like how to put the thought process into creatures and characters to turn it into a crocheted thing, and to how to make, you know, specific body parts. It'll be how to make hands and arms, and I'll be posting all of this on my Club Crochet YouTube account, which, Melbell, if you get a chance, can you post the link to the Club Crochet YouTube account into the chat here so people can subscribe to that channel, which is where that's where I post most of my patterns, and I think that's where I'm going to be doing my next Crocheting 101 live, and Club Crochet Live and all that other fun stuff. How do a lot of you guys get your notifications that I have live streamed? Do you get them via the Club Crochet emails, or do you get them through YouTube notifications, or what? Do you get YouTube notifications? I heard that YouTube notifications have been a little bit rough recently. Ooh, I gotta stop cracking my back like that. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Jules got a notification. Your babysitter fell asleep? Well, that's not good at all. Sarah, sounds like you need a new babysitter. And the Facebook Club Crochet? Okay. Yeah, the rest of this pattern is just really simple as a pimple, at least until you get to the brim. There's a little bit of confusing stuff going on when we get there, and the brim is the part that makes me think, ooh, I might need to not finish this whole thing during one video, but I could. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, well, he lived with us and he's free. He lived with you. He's in his forever sleep now. By the way, if you guys didn't get to see it, I'm going to be posting it after this, the Monster Monday. But if you didn't get to see the monster from Monday's live stream, here he is. I think that the winning name is going to end up being Snoots Magoo, because that seems like what everybody is voting for. Like 75% of people voted for Snoots Magoo, I think. I gave him a little scarf, and I gave him little wings on the back too. Snoots Magoo. So whoever, I don't know who suggested the name Snoots Magoo, but it was a good suggestion. If you happen to be in this live stream as well. Thank you very much. And if you were there during the Monday's live stream, thank you so much. I know I got a little bit loopy at the end there and started acting weird. But you know, that's gonna happen. I'm a weird guy. And that's just the way, I like it, It was fun. That was a fun live stream. It went way too long, but it was fun. I think my goal next month, because I still want to do the Monster Mondays, I think my goal next month is going to be to do only 2 hours at a time, because then I don't like use too much time out of my day, 'cause 4 hours is a long time. May the Lord bless me. I did. I got a little caffeine high. I feel so blessed. Gazoon tight me. Hey, we got 14 people, and that means we got like 3 newbies. Hello, newbie badoobies. If you're out there. Yeah, I hope people like this this Crocheting 101 live, because yeah, I always thought it was kind of a cool idea. I wish I promoted it a little bit better by doing, you know, maybe some like just like talking about it more, maybe sending out a few more emails to people that are getting going. Yeah. Ooh, I have one more thing that I'm working on. Obviously I have a lot of projects that I'm working on right now, but one other project that I'm working on that some people that are just getting into crocheting might enjoy is I'm working on something called 30-day crochet, the 30-day crochet challenge. Basically, the idea is I realized that a lot of Crocheting 101, it's hard for people to sit down and go through on their own. You know, if no one's telling you what to watch next, you got to just go at your own pace. And I'm finding that it's hard for people to finish it because of that. You know. So what I'm trying to create is something called the 30-day crochet challenge, where you learn how to crochet in 30 days or your money back. And I say that because it's completely free. So instead of getting your money back, what you actually get if you complete the 30-day crochet challenge and prove it, you get a variety of you get 5 club crochet patterns for free. So, and by prove it, I mean that you're going to have to crochet this beanie by the end of the 30 days and post a picture of you wearing it, or whoever you made it for wearing the beanie. And then moderators will go through and they'll approve people that finished it. So if I don't let, yes, exactly. Yes. No, you don't have to pay me. No, the whole idea for Crocheting 101, this is something that my mom and dad still do not understand. They ask me it all the time. Why did I make Crocheting 101 free? And I always answer the same thing pretty much, which is I made it free for a few reasons. First off, because if you want to learn how to crochet right now, you can go online and learn how to crochet without Crocheting 101, you know, prior to Crocheting 101. You could go on YouTube, you could go on websites, and people teach you how to crochet for free. But it's just not well organized. It just wasn't well put together. So that's the main reason, was it's already free online. You might as well just make it free. No one's gonna pay. I mean, people might have paid, but it's not worth it. The second reason is because I'm hoping that if I teach you how to crochet and you actually complete the Crocheting 101 and you are a crocheter, then you'll crochet along with me. And even though you won't have paid for Crocheting 1, maybe in the long run you'll pay for one of my patterns, or Amigurumi 101, or maybe some Club Crochet kits, or you'll buy yarn from Club Crochet. That's like the total goal. So yeah, Crocheting 101 is very formatted. Not only do you go through and you learn how to crochet through chapters, but there's also these projects that you learn along the way, so that you see your progress as you go. The only problem is it's kind of hard to keep going, and this might just be a personal problem, but for me it's kind of hard to keep going unless someone's telling me, you know, what to do along the way. So that's where the 30-day crochet challenge is going to come into effect. So it's basically going to be like, hey, you know, it's day 6. That means that you should be watching chapter 4 or whatever. Yeah, so thank you so much. Yeah, it took me a very, very, very long time to organize it. Took me a really long time to write all of the scripts, and then it just took a while in general. And the amount that I did a Kickstarter for it originally, and to be honest, the amount that I made for the Kickstarter wasn't enough, because I originally wanted to make it so I had printed copies of the book and stuff like that, but I barely had enough to do what I made, let alone do the printing of the book. It cost so much money to get it printed, because I needed to make them all in color, and yeah, there's just a lot of reasons why it costs a lot to get these books printed. But cool. Yeah, I'm definitely working on it. Amigurumi 101 is going to be a slow going one, so it's not going to all come out at once like Crocheting 101. Instead, it's going to come out staggered. So there'll be episodes that'll come out for free on the Club Crochet YouTube account and from clubcrochet.com. But then there's also going to be exclusive ones that are available only if you're a Club Crochet member. And Club Crochet members are going to get early access to all of the ones, including the first ones. So I'm planning on recording one of the first episodes for Amigurumi 101 in the next few weeks. And that is going to be available only for Club Crochet members, at least for a while, for like a few weeks, and then it might go live. And that's pretty much going to be how it continues going on. Is I'll put it on Club Crochet for a couple of weeks, and then it'll go live on the YouTube channel, or it'll be an exclusive forever on Club Crochet. And you'll have to be a Club Crochet member to get episodes of Amigurumi 101. Yeah, so that's the plan. And I do own amigurumi101.com, so you know I'm going to be using that. Yeah, I bought Amigurumi 101 the same exact day as I bought crocheting101.com. You're making your panda, but you don't know if you like the head. Oh, absolutely, Sarah. Yeah, people that already know how to crochet can absolutely join the Crocheting 101 challenge. The only, you're just gonna have to crochet a beanie, pretty much. But yeah, you can totally join the Crocheting 101 challenge, and the free patterns are going to be, I want them to be I'm not sure exactly what the free patterns are going to be. I'd like it if you could choose what you want your free patterns to be, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to code that in, because I don't really know what I'm doing completely. But basically it'll be, I want to make it one thing that's like a new hat, so I'm thinking kind of like a, maybe with, I don't know, some kind of other wearable crocheted thing, a pattern for that, and then also pattern, like 3 patterns for amigurumi, and then one other pattern, I don't know, maybe like a bow tie or something. Probably not a bow tie actually, but yeah. Something else that I'm working on, or that I'd like to work on, is which you're gonna see the first one this month, and I talked about this in the monthly hookup. Is this is the first month that I'm having another crocheter that's not me posting or doing a pattern for Club Crochet, and that's something that I'm gonna start doing more often. I want to start having other crocheters have their patterns in crocheting or in Club Crochet. So this month's other designer is named Geeky Hooker, and you might have seen her stuff. She came out with a book somewhat recently called Literary Yarns. It's a book about how to crochet literary characters into little amigurumi things. So there's stuff like the White Rabbit and Sherlock and I don't think Mark Twain, what's his name? Huckleberry Finn, I think, is in there. Frankenstein, maybe. But just a bunch of famous literary characters into crochet. Yeah. So she gave me a free a pattern to put into Club Crochet, which I really like. It's like a little, it's like a, she's calling it Chubzilla. It's like a chubby Godzilla. It's really cute. Okay, this is a good question. Next we go. Josh asks, how do I hold yarn in Crocheting 101? You talk about it, but it looks different when I hold the yarn. So, there are a few different ways to hold your yarn, and it all kind of depends on how you personally want to hold it. So how I hold my yarn is, yeah, you're right. I kind of explained one way, and then in reality, I'm not really doing that way. But how I hold my yarn is I hold it in these 3 fingers, and it goes around the top finger like that. So you can kind of see it. See, in the 3 fingers and the top finger, and this keeps it so I can have a lot of tension there. But I've gotten like pretty quick at going, so and I'm just like gripping my piece with my index and my thumb, a little pinch. But a lot of people hold their yarn different. I know some people hold their yarn like this, with it weaving in and out. I don't like that because it's too much tension, in my opinion. Like, there's a lot of tension going on right now in my hands, and so I'm compensating by crocheting it really loose. In fact, that's way too loose. Some people, Jules, I saw Jules crocheting one time. I was trying to teach her how, but she didn't do it very long. But what she did was she actually crocheted with their yarn in her right hand with her crochet hook. It was insane. I don't know how she did it. It didn't make any sense to me. But that's how she crocheted it. It was really weird. And I don't know if it's a sustainable way to hold your yarn, you know? Like, after a while, I think there's certain things you can't do by holding your yarn that way, but I'm not sure. And it also depends on how you're holding the crochet hook. So I hold my crochet hook with what I call a spoon grip, which is how I'm holding right now, like a spoon. But a lot of people hold their crochet hook like a pencil, like this. I personally don't like that at all. It makes me very uncomfortable, but that's just because I've been crocheting it this way for so long. But if I was holding it with that pencil grip, I might be holding the yarn different as well. See, and instead of holding with those 3 fingers now, because I know how to hold the yarn really well, I'm pretty much just holding it with these 2 fingers. You do the knife grip and spoon grip. So what's a knife grip? Is this a knife? Do you cut like this? Never trust a person who's that's funny. Yeah, I just can't do it either. People say that it's faster. I can't imagine that it's that much faster, really. Like, the only thing that's holding me back from going faster right now is the fact that I need to look at where I'm gonna put the crochet hook next. You know, I can't just like, if I want to go quicker, I guess I could. Like, yeah, but like stabbing it. Isn't that what I'm doing? Stab. That's kind of weird. Anyhow. Yeah, but I don't see how it's that much quicker to use the pencil grip. Also, it's really hard to do like specialty crochet stitches. So you can do single crochets and double crochets, but it's like hard to do like bobble stitches with that grip. It's hard to do decreases with that grip because you just don't have as much tension. You don't have as much strength in your crocheting, which doesn't seem like something that's that important, but when it comes to amigurumi, it can be. You need the strength to go along with the dexterity. Look at me and my Dungeons and Dragons speech. Yeah, speed knitting and speed crocheting is crazy. I feel so annoyed when I have to go really fast, you know, when it's like I'm on a deadline. I feel really annoyed. I'm gonna go ahead and stand for a little bit, turn this up, kind of. Just get my feet are kind of asleep right now, so. You are medium slow with the crochet hook. Melbell uses the Hulk Smash grip. Do you ever crochet and walk? I used to do that. I want it to be turned like this. I used to crochet and walk a lot and just keep the yarn in my pocket as I went. But I almost got hit by a car, so I stopped doing that. But I still crochet with my yarn in my pocket. I usually don't leave the house without a crochet hook in my pocket. I also feel like it's a nice weapon. I don't really think I ever need it as a weapon, but just in case, you know? This thing could be deadly. I mean, maybe not an I crochet hook because it's a little big, but like a G crochet hook, that thing could be sharp. I could murder someone with the G crochet hook. Get in there, hook their intestines out. It'd be great. I mean, if they're attacking me, okay? I'm not just gonna randomly murder someone again. But, like, if they just attack me. Just kidding. This won't hold up in a court of law. It was a joke. Yeah, it's a little hard to stand in crochet because I have to hold my arms like out, like I'm holding them like this. You know, like they're like up. But my feet and my back, I just need a new chair, I think. It's just not a very good chair. Ooh, I like that. That's kind of a cool idea. I've always wanted to have my own type of crochet hook. I want to call it the Looper 9000 or something like that. And that, yeah, I always thought it'd be really cool. I actually have the schematics drawn up somewhere. But you know those knives with the scissors that like are on a spring that like they pop out? Does that make sense? They're like pocket, they're like Swiss Army knives. You know the scissors on Swiss Army knives? So what I want to do is I want to take a crochet hook like this one and have it so that it has that scissors on the back, so you go and the scissors will come out. They'll just be like a little squeeze scissors, and then you could just use that. You just pull it out and just pull it through. Looper 9000. I probably would need a cap on the back though, but I don't know how the heck I would get those manufactured. I don't know who would make that. Yeah, a chair would be a good investment. I think next week I want to try doing a Club Crochet live, which is going to be, I mean, I guess kind of like this, but we're going to be doing a pattern from Club Crochet. And I used to do these a long time ago, I guess this time last year. And basically how it works is you can get the pattern for only $1 while I'm live streaming. Unless you're a Club Crochet member, then you already have the pattern. But yeah, but while I'm live streaming, you can get the pattern for very cheap. And I'll just be crocheting, like, I think I'd like to do maybe the anatomical heart first. And we crochet the heart, and you can crochet along with me. And it'll be a lot like this. Very chill. Yeah. Do you guys do much Tunisian crochet? I really like Tunisian crochet. There's so many different things you can do with it. Tunisian crochet? It's so basically, that's something that I'm gonna put as a tutorial on Club Crochet. But basically, Tunisian crochet is, instead of crocheting the way I'm doing it right now, where I pull a loop through and then pull a loop through two, you get all the loops prepared on the hook like this. And then you take a yarn and you pull it through like this. See? That's what Tunisian crochet kind of looks like. Really, that looks pretty cool actually in the middle of that. But Tunisian crochet is really the thing is, you need a really long crochet hook for it. You can't do it with like a little crochet hook like this. You either need like one that is extra long, like that long, or you need one that's like it has like a thing on the end that is like a. Do I have one right here? I guess I don't. But it's basically like a long plastic thing that goes on the end of your crochet hook. It's pretty fun, and you can make some pretty cool things with it. It's kind of like a mix between knitting and crocheting. Yeah, they're just really long crochet. I have one in the other room, but I guess not in here. Yeah, you can do like some really, really cool crochet stitches with it, but I haven't yet figured out how to Tunisian crochet in the round. I know how to like work it in the round once you get there, but I don't know how to start it in the round and increase yet. Something I would like to work on though. I'd like to figure that out. Cable, yep, that's a long cable. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, you're kind of right. It's more difficult to stop in the middle of a row, but it's not impossible. Like, you can just stop in the middle of a row. But I think there's more thought that goes into it. Maybe not just like the regular old Tunisian crochet, but for like other versions of Tunisian crochet. So there's like a lot of different kinds of Tunisian crochet. And so for other ones, it is a little bit, it takes more thought, I suppose. Painted roll fiber is completely right. It's not as difficult as it looks. 5, 6. Okay, 2 more rounds of just our single crochets, and then we'll be, I think, at a length that we're gonna like. So for these next 2 rounds, I'm gonna try to tighten it up just a little bit, and this is just a personal preference. I just wanted to get just a little bit tighter as I go. Let's see how long it is. Just put it on top, not on bottom. Okay. So we need just about 2 more rounds here, which will get us to about this length, and then we'll be doing the brim, and the brim is pretty easy. It's again just a very repetitive process. It can be kind of annoying, but it's not difficult. It's more difficult than the rest of the beanie for sure, but it's not like impossible. I'll be trying it on after these 2 rounds. And I'll show you where you want the edge to get to. Yeah. I'll try it on after this round actually, just to make sure. But I'll still do another round just because I like making it the same. Back from pizza. I missed the pizza. How's that? What kind of pizza do you get? Pepperoni? Is it pepperoni? Pepperoni and chopped garlic? I am actually pretty hungry. I think after this I'll have to eat a little bit. Hopefully I can finish this whole beanie in this live stream. I definitely am going to stop at 6. So if I don't finish it all the way by 6, I'm really sorry. But 3 hours of live streaming is... I need to start limiting myself because I was starting to lose my mind last time. But I'll try to make it in time. I've just been talking so much. Not a fan of garlic. Garlic's not a fan of you. Alright, so there's our second to last round. Let's try it on. I'm gonna have to take my helmet off for this. Hopefully you can still hear me. Can you hear me? So when you're making your hat, let's turn this back down for a second. When you're making your hat, I could stop it like right here, and it'd probably be good. I want to do one more round just because I want to tighten it up a little bit, but you kind of want to get it right about the middle of the ear when it's done. You can go to the ear lobe, like under the earlobe if you want, but it I think it looks best if you go just like pretty much right where I'm at actually right now. I just want to do one more round because I want it to be a little bit tighter. So I want to tighten up and put a little bit more tension as I'm crocheting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I'm putting a little bit more of a grip on it. Not a lot, just enough so it holds its shape a little bit better. Pulls it in slightly on the top. And basically the way I'm adding tightness is after I crochet a stitch, I pull it tighter. So you can kind of see it. I'll do it slow motion right now. So I get to here and then I pull it a little bit tighter. 1, 2, and then I pull it a little bit tighter. You can kind of see right there it getting a little tighter. 2, boom. And I just do that really quick. Okay. Yeah, I've only had a few French fries actually today. I need to eat really bad, which is why I need to end at 6 because I'm being interviewed at 7 by my friend Garrett for our new podcast that we're working on, which is going to be called The Heart of My Art. It's a podcast about artists, who they are, and why they do what they do. But the first 3 episodes, so the very first episode I interviewed Mary Doodles, who's a friend of mine that is an illustrator. And then I showed my friend Garrett the idea of the podcast. We both we met in radio in college. We were roommates for a very long time. He's my creative partner and my best friend. And I showed him that, and I told him the idea, and he was like, "Oh man, I'd really like to be a part of that. Could I do it with you?" And I said, "Absolutely." Because I've been missing doing like a creative project with him for a while now. So I interviewed him last week, and then this week he's going to be interviewing me. And then from now on, it's just going to be us two together interviewing other artists. And I want to get artists from every different kind of aspect to it. You know, he's a musician, so he's got a lot of sound art to work with, and I'm way more of a visual artist. So. Okay, so I finished up our 12 rounds. Okay, first off, let's pull this out a little bit and let's take out our stitch markers because we don't really need them anymore. So I'm just gonna hook onto them. I'm just gonna take it out one at a time. I could just pull it all out, but you risk it getting a little, making the stitches a little floppy if you do that. So you kind of want to just go one at a time. It'll make your life just a little less dangerous. Although sometimes I like to live on the wild side. Okay, so for the brim, that's where we're at right now. You could stop right now, just do a slip stitch in the next stitch, cut, pull through, hide the end. But we want to make a brim, which looks like this. So for the brim, the length of it is going to be our number N, which is the number that we increased to. Remember, so we made 12 single crochets here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna chain your number N plus 2. So if you made a medium size, which is what we made 12. So 12 plus 2 is 14 chains. If you made a large, you'll do 15 chains. If you made extra large, 16. You made small, 13. You get the gist. We are going to do 12 chains plus 2. We're going to turn it also, so turn it around like this. We're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 2 more, 13, 14. Okay, now we're going to do something called a half double crochet, which is very easy. we're going to first we're going to skip the first 2 chains that we have. So skip this one, skip that one. We're going to be working into this next chain. Okay, we're going to half double crochet, which is where you yarn over, you insert into the 3rd chain from the hook right here. Okay, yarn over again and pull a loop through, and then you yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Boom, just like that. And that's called a half double crochet. So we're going to do that a few more times. For we're just going to be doing half double crochets pretty much all the way down. We're going to do 11 half double crochets. We're going to leave the last one open for something special, but keep doing half double crochets to get to the last chain, aka the first chain that you made, but the last chain down. So another half double crochet, we're going to yarn over, go into the next chain. So this is where we just worked into. You can see because it's a little bit more open of a hole. So you want to skip that one, go into the next chain, half double crochet, yarn over, into the chain, pull a loop through all 3 on the hook. Okay, so we got 3, we want to make 11. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And like Melbell just said, that's going to be more or less depending on the size you made. So if I made a large size, which would be 1 more chain, I would have done 15 chains. That would be 12 half double crochets. If you made a small size, which would be 1 less chain, you would be doing 10 half double crochets. But basically you're doing half double crochets until you get to this last chain, which is right here. This is our last stitch we made, the last single crochet we made right here, but this is the last chain we made. So in the last chain we made, we want to insert our hook into that last chain. Okay. Then we want to yarn over and pull a loop through. Okay, so we have 2 on the hook like we were doing a single crochet. Then we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch on the hat. So right here into the stitch, yarn over and pull a loop through. Okay, so we have 3 on the hook right now, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 on the hook. I'm going to undo this in just a second and we'll do it again. So there you go. That's that last part of this this first part of the brim. So again, I'm going to pull that out. Okay, so I just finished my 11 half double crochets. Let me go ahead and stand up real quick and see if we can't fix our focus, and we'll try to do it really up close. Okay, again, we're at our last chain here. You want to insert your hook into that last chain, pull a loop through, then insert into the next stitch on the hat, which is right there. You can see the V on the top. Pull a loop through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Okay, and that's that. Now we'll do 3 slip stitches. So a slip stitch is go into the next stitch, and we're working in the stitches on the rim of the hat. So be right here. Insert your hook and pull a loop through, and then pull it through the same stitch. We're going to do 3 of those. So there's 1. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, pull that through like that. 2, 3. Okay? And now we're going to turn it around. Okay? We're going to yarn over. We're going to skip those 3 slip stitches that we made. So 1, you just need to count the V's back. So 1, 2, 3. Skip those 3. And we're going to go into the front loop, meaning that the loop furthest away from us of the 4th stitch from the hook. So we skip those 3, 1, 2, 3, front loop, meaning this one furthest away from you, right there, okay? And then we're going to pull a loop through, and then pull through all 3 loops on the hook, boom. And now we're just gonna do half double crochets into that front loop. Again, that's this stitch right here, okay? So normally you do under both of these, but you only want to go into this front one. For all your half double crochets, from now on, you want to do them all into this front one. Okay, we're just going to go all the way up. And there should be 12 half double crochets total. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, last one right here, 12. Okay? There you go. All right, so now you're going to turn it around. We're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Remember, we're only working into that front loop. So if you look at the top, see our little V's. Not under both of these, but only under the front one right here. Let me focus that in again. Okay, just under those front ones. We're gonna skip our 2 chains. There's our 1, 2, we skip those ones. We're gonna half double crochet only in those front ones. We're gonna do that 11 times. 1, 2, okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now when we get to this next part, you can see this weird bar. See that bar that's in front? You should have this like strange bar that's sticking out right there. Let me grab my needle and show you. Okay, so it's right like this. It's just like a weird bar that's just out in the middle of nowhere. You should have that. If you don't, that's okay. You can just work into like the next front loop right here. But if you do have that bar, which you should, you're going to be working into that one. So what we're going to do, take our crochet hook. We're going to enter it into the bar, yarn over and pull a loop through, and then go into the next stitch on the brim of the beanie, which is right there. Insert a stitch and pull one through, all 3 on the hook, then yarn over and pull through all 3 on the hook right there. Okay, that's going to pull it in so it's more straight up and down. And now we're going to do 3 slip stitches. And don't worry, I'll show you how to do that again once we go back up and down or up and down. You're basically doing this over and over and over again. So we'll do 3 slip stitches on the rim of the beanie. 1, 2, 3. Then you'll turn it around. Okay, keeping that yarn on the top like that. We're going to yarn over with our yarn. Skip 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3. And insert the hook into the 4th front loop right there. Pull a loop through, pull a loop through all 3, do a half double crochet, and then we're just going to half double crochet into those front loops all the way up to the top. There should be 12 half double crochets total, including that first one. The hardest part is going back down. It's not really going up, in my opinion. Alright, So let's do that other part again. We're going to turn it around. We're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Skip those 2 chains. 1, 2, skip those. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the front loop of the first stitch, which is that one. Pull through and just do half double crochets in the next 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Get a little bit more yarn. 8, 9, 10. There's 11. Okay. Find that front bar, which is this weird thing right there. Okay. Here's from the other angle. You can kind of see, can you see that little V? Let me show you. See that, see this one right here? That's actually where the last stitch is. So if you don't have this front bar, just work into the front loop of the last stitch. Okay? The front bar depends on how you make the half double crochet when you turn around. You should have it though. But someone had asked me about that once. Oh, you're totally right, Melbell. I've been saying front loops. I mean the back loops. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Not the front loops, the back loops is what we're working into. So we're working into this bar though now. Insert the hook into the bar, pull a loop through, then into the next stitch on the brim of the beanie, or the rim of the beanie. Pull the yarn through, and then pull through all 3 on the hook. And that's, technically we're doing a single crochet 2 together there, which if you watch my video on decreases, that's how I explain that. Okay, and then we're gonna do 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna turn it around, yarn over, skip the next those 3 slip stitches that you made. So 1, 2, 3, skip those guys, and then, like Melbell said, into the back loops, not the front loops, because I'm a dummy. Into the back loops, we're doing half double crochets all the way back up. There should be 12 total. Okay. So that is how you're going to be making the brim, and you're just going to keep repeating that all the way until you get to the other end. There should be, let's see, I think you have to do that like 11 times total. So it's not too bad. The annoying part is just turning around. Once you get into the rhythm of things, it can be pretty easy. You can get kind of zone out. Hey, Aritagurumis. How are you? Haven't seen you in a while. Ooh, I really gotta stop cracking my neck like that. It hurts so good. Okay, I think after this round I can sit down, back down, and just get into the zone again. Okay. All right, now we have this bar again. This is the last time I'm going to show you this ending of the working back down. Here's your little bar. Insert the hook into that bar, yarn over and pull through, then insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all the loops there. There you go. And then we do 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, turn. Okay, let me sit back down and get in the zone. Auto zone. Yeah, so Josh, this is difficult, but it's not difficult if you've gotten to this point. So if you have been going through Crocheting 101, all of these techniques that I'm showing you right now, you would have already hit on. You would have learned the half double crochet, you would have learned what the front and the back loops are, even though I forgot. you would have learned what a single crochet two together is. That's in the decreasing chapter, which I think is like chapter 5 or 6. Which the single crochet two together is that part with that bar that we go into. So it is tough, but if you go through Crocheting 101, you get to that point, you'll be able to get there. And yeah, exactly what Melbell said. This is one of those examples where using the video is really going to help you out. Or going and using the pictures in the book, really going to help out a lot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so now for the rest of this this beanie, I'm just doing this back and forth until I get all the way around to where the front of the beanie is. Yeah. I had a good friend of mine that is that has tried learning to crochet, who said that they got to this part of the beanie and they just decided, screw it, I'm just gonna cut it and just have it not have a brim. And I was like, dude, come on. Like, that's like the most important part, is if you can do that, the brim of that beanie, it's gonna help out so much like later on. Like yeah, it's like a very specific technique, but I mean, it is useful, definitely useful. Yeah, written patterns, I noticed that. So that's the reason why I started, I did video pattern. Well, there's a few reasons why I jumped into video patterns. One, I think I'm better at explaining how to crochet through videos than I am through written words. But I also noticed that a lot of people need videos to explain them. I mean, crocheting is a visual art. It's very textile, and you need to use your hands, so you need to really see what you're doing, and it's hard to explain through written words, which is why I include a full video for every single pattern that I do with crocheting, or with in club crochet. It's because I realize that a lot of people need that extra help. In fact, I need it. Like, I'm working on this this guest pattern right now. You know, the one that I was talking about with Geeky Hooker. She just sent me a written one, and like, I can do it. It's just there's parts of it where I'm like, God, I wish she had a video for this part, just so I understand what she means by this color change or that color change, stuff like that. Yeah. Because I'm going to be doing a video for her pattern. That's kind of one of the things that is my way to encourage people to put their patterns on Club Crochet, or like to do more collaborations with other crocheters. Is I'm going to say, you know, if you do a pattern with, I'm going to switch the song because it was distracting me. If you do a pattern with Club Crochet, the idea is going to be you. All you have to do is write down how the pattern's done, send any pictures you want, and then I will do all the video for it. I'll do a whole PDF, like a super slick PDF with the check marks and everything. Yeah, and then I'll also give you like a bunch of shout outs. The video, Painted World Fiber, the video for the beanie is actually already out. Yeah. And it's way more eloquently said than anything I can do during a live stream. Even though I use the word eloquently, which is a super cool word. Hey, M. Auger from Quebec. Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for saying hi. Legitimately, it keeps me going. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming and commenting and saying hi. My lip is itchy. I'm trying to scratch with my bottom teeth. So how's it been going, M. Auger? You got any questions? This is the time to ask. I can give you any advice. I can look at what you're doing and give you any advice on if I can notice it through a picture, stuff like that. Manon, I've never heard that name. I like it. Manon Auger. Oh, that's sad. Throw away your first crochet project. My first crochet project is with my friend Casey, who I don't even know if she still has it, to be honest. She probably threw it away, which is such a bummer, but it's probably true. It was an octopus, though. Oh God, that was a bad back crack. I shouldn't have done that. Sound like Hagrid. Should not have said that. All right, 30 more minutes. I don't think I can finish this in 30 minutes, but I can try. I remember at my peak, I was able to do one of these beanies in an hour. Just 1 hour and I would get a beanie done. I'm sure they were all loose and crappy, but I could do it. Back in my heyday. I made a full size, or not a full size, you made a full size hot air balloon? I made a hot air balloon too. That was one of my first projects. That was, I think a hot air balloon was my second project and my first thing that I made with no pattern. Yeah, because I knew how to use increases, so I just like made it. Do I answer spiritual questions? Because you really want to know some things. Yeah, toss them my way. I'll give you some spiritual answers. How do you send me a picture? You can either send it to me, you can post it on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook if you have those. You should join the Facebook group if you have a Facebook page. Melbell can give you a link to the Facebook page really quick. But that's probably going to be the best way to send it to me. If you don't have any of those, you can send it to me. Yeah, you can, and oh yeah, if you post it on Instagram and stuff, make sure to tag me in it. Yeah, it's not louies.loops, it's louies.loops. But but yeah, make sure to tag me in it so I can see it, and then I'll look at it real quick and give you any advice. Brian asks, what's an orphanym? I have no idea. That doesn't sound like a spiritual question. That just sounds like an actual vocabulary question. I don't know. What is it for orphanym? I'm not sure. Orphanym. There, I just saw you ask to be added to Club Crochet. Melbell should be able to add you to that. Sarah, that's something that I keep meaning to get you in on, is as a Facebook moderator. Gotta get you in there for that. That is the answer, Melbell. Yep, what she said. I am not Jewish, so I have no idea. Even though I got real curly hair, and people ask me all the time if I'm Jewish. I'm actually Italian. It is done. Okay. Okay, so I saw you got added in. So post your picture in the Facebook group really quick, and let me know in the chat when you do that. What your next crochet project to be. I think you should make Did you make an anatomical heart? That one's a pretty, I have to say, I think that's one of my funner new crochet patterns if you're looking for a club crochet one. Otherwise, if you want to make something from the top of your noggin, maybe try a try making a gorilla. Gorillas are fun. Do you have any furry yarn? Man, my right arm is getting tired. Okay. Oh, Melody, I just saw your post on the Facebook group about your nephew. That's freaking adorable. That is so cute. Oh yeah, Iggly. So what we're listening to right now is called lo-fi hip hop. I got it from a Twitch streamer, actually. I can't remember what his name is, but I met him at what was that, VidCon, and he told me all about it, and yeah, it's super chill. Like, listen to this. So like, talking to you, Auntie Malaby. He wants to meet me. Come out to San Francisco. I'll grab a coffee. You drink coffee probably, right? Or is he more of a cocaine kind of guy? Thanks, Maria. Yeah, it keeps you from going crazy, that's for sure. This good music. Hey Melody, did you get a chance to... I can't see if he's in there, but did you get a chance to add Manon into the Facebook group? Because I can't find it. Oh, he's 5? Yeah, meth. I was really into meth when I was 5 too. Oh, there we go. I just saw your post, Manon. Or I just saw you. At least I saw it on the... Oh, that looks wonderful. Wow, that's a lot of work. For people that can't see it, it's a giraffe. It's like a blanket. I think it's a baby's blanket. And it's a giraffe in a little boat, and a reindeer, and a sun. I love it. Is this all freehand, or did you get it from a pattern, or what? Okay, 20 more minutes of the stream. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it in time to finish the entire beanie. Maybe I can push it a little further, but I don't know. We'll see how close we get. If we're like really close, if it only takes like a few more, maybe I'll just finish it up. I just know that I need a break before I do this. I need to eat and stuff before I do this little interview. It's awesome. It is awesome, man. You haven't sewn them on though yet, huh? Or you didn't? Are they sewn on already? Yeah, I didn't think they were sewn on. That looks great though. It's gonna look really good when it's sewn on. I would not consider myself spiritual. I would consider myself philosophical, but not really spiritual, personally. I was raised, I was raised Catholic, and then I went to just Christian middle school, and then I really didn't like it. So I went to a public school for high school, and that was pretty much the end of my religious experience. I was forced to read the Bible one too many times. What stitch am I doing right now? I am doing a half double crochet into the back loops of the previous half double crochets. I'm just doing them vertically to make kind of like a brim. Oh, what's the name of the baby? So I'm thinking Matthew. I've never seen Matthew spelled like that. Is that a French spelling? Are you French? Because you're from Quebec, right? I took French quite a lot in college. I went to France for a month. I can understand it a little tiny bit. I can probably speak it better than I can understand it though. But not good enough to do it on a live stream or else I'll embarrass myself. Bonsoir. I might be able to make it. Ooh, I don't know. We're gonna be cutting it close. Whew, my right arm is getting tired. You too. Thanks so much for joining, Manon. And I hope to see more of your projects soon in the Club Crochet Facebook group. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining and saying hi. I really, really appreciate it. And for a beginner, you're doing a very, very good job. Like, I don't even believe you're a beginner. Let's see, how many more of these will I have to do? We can count it at the end of this round. I agree. I love it when new people come in the chat. I mean, I love you guys too, so it's cool all the way around. I just like that I'm not doing this alone. You know what I mean, jelly beans? Okay. Okay, looks like we got about like 7 more of these. All right, I guess I can push it, finish it up. It won't be like more than 10 minutes more, so might as well. Because that way I can show you what to do at the very end. I am gonna stand up after this one though, again, because my back hurts again. Wow. Yeah. It's hard to keep this in the camera. I hope it's not too close. Also, what do you think about me doing my double chin the entire time? I can feel the sweat building up on my bottom chin. What am I going to eat? Well, I gotta wait to eat that sushi with you, unfortunately. But I have some chicken nuggets that I didn't really eat at lunch. I only had like one, and then my boss called me. So I'm gonna eat those. And yeah, just enough to tide me over until we eat that sushi. God, but I want that sushi really bad. I'm literally, my mouth is literally watering thinking about that sushi. I can't stop thinking about it now. Stop right there with the hat and leave the brim folded down so it looks like a, it'll look like a, hold on. Let me finish this round and I'll put it on. You'll see what it looks like. Looks like a knight's helmet. I cannot tell you the amount of hats that I have made that I have had to stop like this far because I didn't have enough yarn. Oh, you've been crocheting for a year? That's definitely, you're definitely not a beginner then. Yeah, you know what you're doing. Okay, this is what it looks like. I gotta put down my head. How does it look? Do I look like a knight? Okay, just 4 or 5 rounds left. Jules says I look like the guy in Game of Thrones that dies first. If you were in one of the houses of Game of Thrones, which house would you be in? You know, the one extra that ran into battle too fast. Are you saying that I'm premature into battle? Inappropriate, Jules. Targaryen? You would be a Targaryen because you're so blonde. What would I be? Probably House Tyrell. It's the hair. Yeah, it is the hair. Okay. There's 3 more. Okay. Okay. You know what's great about this color of beanie? I don't think Jules is going to steal it from me. Maybe. I don't know. Ooh. Oof. That was a good neck crack. Almost there. Almost there, Brian. Rude. I should make you a purple beanie. That you actually would wear. It'd have to be like a lavender purple. I think. Well, I think you'd wear dark purple too, though. You look good in dark purple. It's good contrast to your golden hair. Okay. We're cute together. You hear that, Jules? She thinks we're cute. Okay, so this is going to be the last normal round, I think. And then at the end here, I'm going to show you how to finish it up. The great thing about this is that you don't really need a needle to close it up. You can just do it with just your crochet hook. You'll need a needle to hide in the ends, but you don't really need a needle to actually sew it closed. So. Okay, so this is I'm gonna go down for this last round and do my 3 slip stitches, and then I'll show you how to close this guy up. And then I'll eat a bunch of chicken nuggets. Vanessa, what you talking about? Your mom can hear me? Hey, Vanessa's mom. Gotta keep an eye on this girl. Alright, so I'm gonna do my last 3 slip stitches and I'm gonna stem. Okie doke. 3 slip stitches. 1, a 2, a 3. And then I'm gonna counting our first chain, which is gonna be this one at the top here. Boom. We're gonna count down 12, including this one. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Insert the crochet hook into that 12th one. If I can. There we go. We're gonna pull this loop. Oh wait, we want this strand of yarn to be on the opposite side, so we want it like that. And we can pull this loop a little tighter. And we want to pull this loop through the crochet, or through the chain. Boop. Pull it tighter. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to do our half double crochet into the front loop, skip these 3 slip stitches, so we can skip 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do a half double crochet into the back loop, there, boom, okay, and after every half double crochet, we're going to take the crochet hook out, we're going to insert the crochet hook into the next chain up along, into this one right here, okay, and then pull the loop through. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way up, so half double crochet into the back loop, crochet hook out, insert it into the next chain, there we go, and pull the loop through. Just going to keep doing that all the way up. And this will seam it closed, and it's going to look pretty good. You won't really be able to tell where the end is. You could just sew them together. Yeah, you could easily just sew them together like Mel Bell said. But this is easier. You don't have to sew them together. It takes even less work. Well, Vanessa, I'm gonna be posting this on the page afterwards, and I have a whole free video tutorial that's very well edited and explained for this exact pattern. I think I can post the link again in the chat real quick. This is in Crocheting 101, yeah. Yeah, I think this was in the Crocheting 101 video, wasn't it? Like how I did this? I think it was. Okay, so here's the last one. We're gonna half double crochet in the last chain right here. Yeah. Okay, so then we have like an open loop like this. We're gonna cut the end. We're going to chain and pull that loop all the way through. Then we'll thread this onto a needle. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go down and go into these, see these like loops all the way down? We're gonna hide the end by going into these and just going around and around and around. Just inserting the inserting the needle into each one of those. And you don't really need to go all the way down, but I'm going to because I am obsessive. And it's like a challenge to try to get them all in. There we go. Pull it through. All right, there we go. We're gonna cut it. Flip that brim inside out. And we got a beanie. And here's where the end is. So you can kind of see it a little bit, but it's pretty well hidden, I think. And we're going to put it on. Oh, I can't do that with headphones on though. Put that right there. That. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. All right. Let's flip that brim up just a little bit. Get that curl out of the way a little bit. Hey, that's not bad, right? The headphones on over it. That's pretty good, I think. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna try doing something like this every month for Crocheting 101, so newbies can come in and ask questions and get some help. So if you didn't watch this live, if you're watching a rerun of this right now, check the description. There should be a little survey that I made so that I can see what is the best time to live stream at, and there should be a link to a to like an email notification list, so you can get email notifications for when I'm going to be live streaming next, and you can see the calendar and stuff like that, a live streaming calendar. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. There's going to be another live stream next Monday, the, let's see, 19th? I think Monday the 19th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be making another monster. Here is the monster from this Monday. His name is Snoots Magoo. Next Monday, it's going to be a monster from a friend of mine, Mary Doodles, is painting it. Actually, today she's painting it. Make sure, if you're not already, please subscribe down below and push notifications by clicking that little bell. And like this video if you can, really quick. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really glad that I actually got this beanie down, and I think it looks really good. I'm pretty dang happy with it. And yeah, okay. Pasta la pizza, and happy hooking. Bye.